Part 2. The Inner Work. Managing the Overwhelm. Chapter 5. The Practice of Presence. A Simple Guide to Mindfulness. The Ghost in the Library. Let me tell you about David. David was a junior engineering major who came to see me because, as he put it, I can't focus anymore. I sit in the library for 4 hours and get nothing done. I asked him to walk me through a typical study session. Well, I sit down with my textbook, I read the first paragraph, then I think about how I bombed the last quiz. Then I think about how if I don't do well on this exam, my GPA will drop. Then I check my phone. Then I read the paragraph again. Then I think about how my roommate is already done with this chapter. Then I wonder if I should have been a different major. Then I realize I've been sitting here for 20 minutes and I'm still on the same page. He looked exhausted just describing it. So you're in the library, but you're not actually there, I said. Exactly. It's like I'm a ghost. My body's in the chair, but my mind is everywhere else, and nowhere useful. You know this feeling. We all do. The autopilot problem. If you've ever spent an entire study session reading the same paragraph 3 times without absorbing a single word, you've experienced the autopilot mind. If you've ever driven from your dorm to the store and realized you don't remember the trip, the turns, the lights, the scenery, you've experienced it. If you've ever been in a conversation with someone and suddenly realized you have no idea what they just said because you were thinking about something else, you've experienced it. If you've ever eaten an entire meal and couldn't describe what it tasted like because you were scrolling through your phone, you've experienced it. The autopilot mind is when your body is in one place, but your consciousness is somewhere else entirely. And in the demanding environment of college, this isn't occasional, it's constant. The mental time machine. Your mind is perpetually somewhere else. It's rehashing a mistake from a class discussion last week, replaying that awkward thing you said at the party, analyzing what your professor's tone meant when they returned your paper. That's the past. Or it's catastrophizing about the next exam, worrying about your job prospects, spiraling about whether you're on the right path, rehearsing conversations that haven't happened yet. That's the future. Meanwhile, the present moment, the only moment where you actually have any power, where life is actually happening, slips by unnoticed. This constant mental time travel is the enemy of satisfaction and productivity. Think about it. You cannot live a life aligned with your chosen values if you're never actually present to make value-aligned choices. You cannot engage in deep study or reach flow states if your attention is scattered across 17 different mental threads. You cannot genuinely connect with friends if you're physically there but mentally somewhere else, nodding along while thinking about your to-do list. Your body is here, but your mind is draining energy elsewhere, and you wonder why you're exhausted. David's revelation. When I explained this to David, something clicked. So that's why I can study for 4 hours and feel more tired than if I'd actually learned something, he said. I'm not resting, but I'm also not really working. I'm just anxiously existing in between. Exactly. The autopilot mind is exhausting precisely because you're never fully committed to anything. You're half studying, half worrying, half socializing, half thinking about what you should be doing instead, half relaxing, half feeling guilty about relaxing. You're never all in, you're never fully present, so nothing feels satisfying and everything feels draining. The solution is not complex, but it requires practice. Mindfulness. Demystifying mindfulness. Forget the monks. I need to say this up front because I know what just happened when you read that word. You rolled your eyes, or you thought, here we go, meditation. This isn't for me. So let's clear something up right now. Forget the images of silent monks sitting on mountaintops. Forget the incense and the spiritual enlightenment and the idea that you need to be a certain type of person to practice mindfulness. Mindfulness is a practical, secular skill. It's a tool, like learning to touch type or parallel park. Mindfulness is simply the act of intentionally paying attention to the present moment without judgment. That's it. No spirituality required, no special cushion, no hour-long sessions, no emptying your mind of all thoughts, which is impossible anyway. Just paying attention, on purpose, to right now. The leash on the puppy. Here's the metaphor that makes this click for most students. Your mind is like a wildly jumping puppy. It's enthusiastic, energetic, and completely incapable of staying in one place. It jumps from thought, to worry, to memory, to plan, to judgment, to comparison. You can't stop the puppy from jumping. That's what puppies do. That's what minds do. Mindfulness is the leash. It doesn't stop the puppy from jumping. The thoughts won't stop, and that's okay. But it keeps the puppy tethered to the now. You acknowledge the thoughts and feelings, the past worries or future anxieties, but you choose not to be dragged along by them. The puppy jumps toward that thing you said was stupid. You notice, there's a thought about the past, and you gently bring attention back to the present. The puppy jumps toward, what if I fail the exam? You notice, there's an anxious thought about the future, and you gently bring attention back to the present, over and over. That's the practice. Not stopping the thoughts, not fighting them, just noticing and returning, noticing and returning. Why this matters for you. For a college student specifically, mindfulness is a triple threat. 1, it reduces stress. When you're present, you're not catastrophizing about the future or ruminating about the past. You're just here, and here is usually manageable, even when it's challenging. 2, it improves focus. When you train your mind to stay with one thing, even just for 3 minutes, you're building attentional muscle. That transfers to studying, to listening and lectures, to everything that requires sustained concentration. 3, it creates the space needed for intentional action. Remember that tiny gap we talked about in the last chapter between stimulus and response, between thought and reaction? Mindfulness is what widens that gap. It's what gives you room to choose your values instead of just reacting to your anxiety. This isn't theory. This is practical power. Your anchor, the breath. To be present, you need a reliable anchor that keeps you tethered to the current moment. You could use different anchors, the sensation of your feet on the ground, the sounds around you, the feeling of your hands touching. But the most reliable anchor you have is your breath. Why the breath? Because it's always happening. You can't leave it at home. You can't run out of it. It's happening whether you pay attention to it or not. Because it's always unique to now. Your breath from 5 minutes ago is gone. Your breath 5 minutes from now doesn't exist yet. The breath you're taking right now is only happening right now. Because you can access it anywhere. In a library, in the lecture hall, during a job interview, in the middle of a panic attack, at 3 a.m. when you can't sleep, walking across campus, sitting in a waiting room. Your breath is always with you, which makes it the perfect anchor. The 3-minute sensory anchor exercise. We are going to start with a simple 3-minute exercise designed to interrupt the autopilot when you need to switch tasks, feel overwhelmed, or start a study block. 3 minutes, not 30, not an hour, 3. If you can't spare 3 minutes, you're lying to yourself about what your real priorities are. Here's how it works. Minute 1. Stop and notice. Stop whatever you are doing. Completely stop. Close the laptop. Put down the phone. Stop scrolling. Stop moving. Stop planning. Take 3 long, deep breaths. Not your normal, shallow chest breaths. Really breathe. Fill your lungs. Push the air all the way out. Then ask yourself, what am I physically sensing right now? Notice your feet on the floor, the pressure where they touch the ground. Are you wearing shoes? Can you feel the texture of your socks? Notice the weight of your backpack if you're wearing one, or the feeling of the chair supporting you. The temperature of the air on your skin. Is it warm? Cool? Is there a breeze? Notice the sounds, the hum of the air conditioning, distant conversations, your own breathing. Just notice. Don't analyze. Don't judge. Just, what am I sensing? Minute 2. Focus on the breath. Bring your full, soft attention to the sensation of the air entering and leaving your body. Not thinking about breathing, not controlling your breathing, not breathing in any special way, just observing the breath that's already happening. Where do you feel it most? In your chest, expanding and contracting? In your belly, rising and falling? In the cool air under your nostrils as you inhale? The warm air as you exhale? Pick one spot. Stay with it. Your mind will wander. The puppy will jump. Did I respond to that email? What's for dinner? I should be studying. This is stupid. That's fine. Expected. Not a failure. When you notice the mind has wandered, and you will notice because that's the practice, gently bring attention back to the breath. No frustration, no self-criticism, just, thinking happened. Back to the breath. Do this 10 times, 50 times, 100 times in 1 minute. It doesn't matter. That's the practice. Minute 3. Expand your awareness. Gently expand your awareness back to the room, back to your surroundings. Hear the sounds without labeling or judging them. The clicking keys, the distant conversation, the rustling papers. They're just sounds, not good or bad, not distracting or annoying, just sounds happening. Feel the space around you, the room you're in, the air between you and the walls. And now, grounded in the present moment, ask yourself one question. What is my next intentional, value-aligned action? Not what should I be doing, not what am I supposed to do, but what's the next thing that aligns with my values and actually matters? Then do that thing, fully with your attention on it. David's practice. Remember David, the engineering student who was a ghost in the library? I taught him this 3-minute exercise. He was skeptical. That's it? That's gonna fix my focus problem? Try it, I said, 3 times a day for 1 week. Before you start studying, when you transition between classes, before you open your laptop for the night. Just 3 minutes. He rolled his eyes but agreed. A week later, he came back. Okay, that's weird, he said. I'm not suddenly a meditation master or whatever, but yesterday I actually studied for 2 hours and felt like I was there, like I was actually absorbing the material instead of just running my eyes over the words. What changed? I asked. I don't know. I did the breathing thing before I started, and when my mind started wandering to other stuff, I noticed it faster, and I could bring it back. It wasn't perfect, but it was better. That's the practice, not perfection, not transformation overnight, just better, more present, more here. Taming test anxiety. Let's get practical about one of the most common situations where autopilot thinking destroys you. Test anxiety. You sit down for the exam. You read the first question, and immediately your mind floods with catastrophic forecasts. I don't know this. I'm going to fail. Everyone else knows this. I should have studied more. My GPA is going to tank. I won't get into grad school. My parents will be disappointed. Why did I even come to college? Your heart races, your palms sweat, your breath gets shallow, and you can't think clearly because your brain is convinced you're being chased by a tiger. This is an opportunity to use mindfulness practically. Here's what you do. Step 1. Acknowledge. Instead of fighting the physical sensations or trying to suppress them, name them. My heart is racing. I am feeling immense pressure. My hands are shaking. This is the name it to tame it technique from the last chapter. You're creating separation between you and the anxiety. Step 2. Anchor. Here's the counterintuitive part. Use the racing heart as your anchor. Focus fully on the physical sensation of your heart beating, not the thought, I'm having a heart attack or this is terrible. Just the sensation itself, the rhythm, the pounding in your chest. This simple, non-judgmental observation shifts your focus from the thought of failure, the future catastrophe, to the physical reality of the present moment, a heart beating fast, which is not dangerous, just uncomfortable. Stay with it for 10 seconds, 20 seconds. Notice how it feels. Step 3. Reorient. Take 3 deep breaths, long inhales, full exhales. Recenter on the question in front of you, not the whole test, not your future, just this question, this moment. Choose one small, actionable step forward. I'm going to read this question one more time, slowly. I'm going to answer the part I do know, even if I'm not sure about the rest. I'm going to skip this and come back to it. One small step, present moment, value-aligned action. The daily practice that changes everything. Here's what I need you to understand. This is a skill, like playing guitar or shooting free throws. You don't get good at it by reading about it. You get good at it by practicing. And you don't wait until you're in crisis to practice. You practice when things are calm, so the skill is available when things are chaotic. By practicing the sensory anchor 3 times a day, not just when you are stressed, but when you transition between classes, before opening your laptop, after you wake up, you build the foundational skill of presence. 3 minutes, 3 times a day, 9 minutes total. You spend more time than that scrolling Instagram while sitting on the toilet. This skill is the prerequisite for all the deeper work we will cover. You can't reach flow if you can't focus. You can't build genuine connection if you're not present. You can't make value-aligned choices if you're on autopilot. Presence is the foundation. The resistance and why it's lying to you. Your brain will resist this practice. It will say, I don't have time for this. You have time. You're choosing to spend it elsewhere. This is too simple to work. Simple doesn't mean ineffective. The most powerful tools are often simple. I'll start next week when things calm down. Things will never calm down. You practice during the storm, not after it. I tried meditation once and it didn't work. You didn't fail at meditation. You just practiced noticing your mind wandering, which is exactly what meditation is. These are excuses. Don't believe them. Your assignment. Before you move to the next chapter, commit to 1 week of practice. Just 1 week, 7 days. The daily practice. Practice the 3-minute sensory anchor exercise 3 times per day. Morning, before you check your phone. Midday, before a study session or between classes. Evening, before you start homework or wind down for the night. Set alarms on your phone if you need to. Make it non-negotiable. The bonus challenge. The next time you feel test anxiety, panic before a presentation, or overwhelming stress, use the three-step process. Acknowledge, anchor, reorient. David's update. 6 weeks after our first conversation, David sent me an email. I'm not going to pretend I'm suddenly a Zen master. My mind still wanders constantly. I still get anxious before exams. I still procrastinate sometimes. But I'm not a ghost anymore. When I study, I'm actually there. When I talk to people, I'm actually listening. When I eat, I actually taste the food. I didn't realize how much of my life I was missing by being stuck in my head. It's weird to say, but I feel like I'm finally here. And here is pretty good, even when it's hard. That's the promise of presence. Not that life becomes easy, not that anxiety disappears, not that you achieve some permanent state of calm, but that you're actually here for your life instead of spending it lost in thought. And when you're here, really here, you can build something real. But first, 3 minutes, 3 times a day, 1 week. Can you do that? Everything else builds from here. Discover more about this book, watch exclusive content on our YouTube channel, and check out the book on Amazon KDP.